I think we're at the point of guided imagery and why it works. So guided imagery is something we're going to do. We have plenty of time to do it, but why it works, just like with the lemon and the chalkboard, I'm going to just talk. You can sit there and listen to me. You can accept the little story that I'm going to walk you through, or you don't have to. But what your brain does, your subconscious mind, that inner part of your mind that we learned from Lindsay Elmore, that like part that's like super ancient that holds all the programming of your body, we want to get access to that part of your brain, the part that knows all the directions to your mom's house, that example that she gave of like you're driving to your mom's house, your parents' house, and like you don't even really remember how you got there, right? It's because that was stored in that inner part of your brain, the subconscious mind. So guided imagery works because we're accessing that part of your brain where all that really important programming is stored. And just like with driving and not really realizing where you're at or how you got there, we do it all the time. When you go see a movie, your conscious mind knows that you're sitting in a room with a bunch of strangers watching a screen full of actors that it's not really real, right? But as soon as your brain gets sucked into the storyline, you start acting as if it's really happening, right? Like you're jumping out of your seat, your heart's beating a mile a minute if something exciting is happening, you're sobbing if something's sad, you're feeling, laughter and happiness is happening if you're watching a comedy or whatever, right? But your brain knows, conscious brain knows, this is not true. Subconscious brain, that inner part, does not know that that's not real. And that's why you're reacting as if it's real, okay? And when the credits come up and you're like, oh no, I wonder what happened to them. Like, hello, they were actors and it was a fake story, right? But you're just like, oh, I wonder what, oh, now I have to wait like for part 2. But like, it's not a real story, right? But your brain gets sucked into it so much so that it's happening. So we go into that state of brain focus all the time, and we're just going to do that in this room right here, right now, okay? So the best legacy you could leave is not some building that's named after you or a piece of jewelry, but rather a world that's been impacted and touched by your presence, your joy, and your positive actions. Like this is why we were put on earth, to leave a legacy, to leave this world better than before, right? And just like Sarah was saying, shame on you if you're not sharing. Like this is a life-changing thing that we've got in our hands. And if you're not sharing that, you need to look at why. Because everybody needs to know about this, about our products and about this business. Whether or not they do the business, whatever, but they need to at least know about the product, right? Okay, there's my contact info. Let's get into the guided imagery, okay? So I just want you to sit there with your feet firmly on the ground, sit with your hands comfortable in your lap, and close your eyes if you want, or if you'd rather just kind of like stare at the ground in front of you and just let your eyes kind of get glassy and unfocused, go ahead and do that. And I want you to just take a couple nice cleansing breaths in and out. In, and when you breathe out, I want you to just like visualize or think about like every part of your body from head to toe relaxing. So like starting at the top of your head as you exhale, feeling your shoulders relaxing all the way down to your toes. And then another deep breath in, and then as you exhale again, just feeling every bit, head, shoulders, knees, toes, relaxing. And just do that a couple of times. And just let your mind kind of wander wherever it needs to wander. And I want you to just listen to my voice and let yourself continue to just relax with every exhalation. And just, if you're visual, then visualize stress, tension, whatever it is in your body, just kind of like flowing out your fingertips, flowing out your toes, and bringing in every time you inhale, just bringing in light and goodness and positivity, and exhaling out all the negativity, all the stress, all the yuck, okay? And just let your conscious mind sit here and think about whatever while your subconscious mind goes with me on a little journey. So I want you to just sit there and notice the seat underneath you. feel the support of that seat underneath you. And I want you to think about your spine. The spine is so important, right? It's the thing that kind of holds you up, holds you together. And I want you to imagine or think about your spine going down, down, down from the very base of your skull all the way down to your bottom, right, that you're sitting on. And I want you to imagine that you've got a root, and it's growing out of your tailbone, and it's going into the ground. It's going all the way into the earth, several layers down to the center of the earth, and you're going to anchor it down to the center of the earth with whatever you imagine. Maybe it's a giant anchor. Maybe it's a huge boulder that you're tying your little strong root with. This root is going to allow you to move as freely as you want all the time, but it's also going to help keep you grounded and keep you centered. And so I want you to feel or imagine how strongly you can feel yourself grounded into the center of the earth. And I want you to remember that you've got this skill of being able to ground yourself to the center of the earth, to feel so calm and centered anytime you need to. That you can bring this sensation up, this thought process up, do this exercise anytime you want, so that you can bring that feeling of groundedness and centeredness. Okay? And now I want you to imagine or think about a field in front of you. And this field is a beautiful place, and there's a tree in front of you. It's a really beautiful, elegant tree, lots of branches and leaves, and this tree is something that I want you to nurture. So find whatever fertilizer, tree food, whatever is necessary, and I want you to feed that tree, water it. I want you to see how the sun is just shining down on this tree and giving it all the nutrients that it needs from the sun and from the air. And I want you to see how this tree is time-lapse photography, kind of fast-forwarding. And you can see new shoots, new leaves growing. And I want you to see underground and take a peek underground, however magically you want to do that. But you can see how the roots are growing stronger, more intertwined, more stable, so that this tree can withstand whatever weather, whatever wind comes its way, and how these roots are now expanding. And as this tree grows, it's leaving little seeds, dropping little seeds, and as you continue to fast forward through this little movie in your head of this tree, you can see how every time it drops a seed, it's then going to grow a new tree. So a new little sprout comes up, and it's going to grow, and you can see how it's now sprouting some new leaves and new branches. And I want you to fast forward this movie in your head forward months, maybe even years, and you've now got a humongous forest around you. And the trees are just so healthy, and they've grown so expansive across the land that you can see trees as far as the eye can see. And if you peek underground again, you can see these roots, and you can see how these roots are intertwined and how they're supporting each other. And you can see how this nutrient fertilizer and how the sun and how the air is feeding all of these trees so well. And I want you to see how this one tree that started was you. And all of these trees are the trees that are growing underneath you because you decided to share your love of our Young Living products. You decided to share about the business. And eventually you're going to have that beautiful forest amongst you of the community that you've created around you, and how you guys are all going to have intertwined roots that help support each other and help support you. And how you're going to have this beautiful, fantastic forest that's just endless endlessly abundant, right? So I want you now to kind of take your imagination and shift the vision to the day that you hit diamond and you're at convention and you're about to walk onto stage and they're about to call your name. And so you are behind the stage and you can feel your heart beating a mile a minute because you're so excited and so nervous and so proud. And then you hear the announcer say your name, and then they kind of like push you out onto the stage, and you're walking and you're walking and you're walking, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And you can hear the roar of the applause, and you can see team members clapping and crying for you, and then you get to go say hi to Gary and Mary and all the corporate team, and how you're just like smiling and just like beyond excited, and how it just is happening, right? And you can feel the tears in the corners of your eyes because the moment that you've been working so hard, it's here. You are being acknowledged for all of your hard work, and you get to go and meet Mary and Gary and be on the stage and hear your name being announced as Diamond. And you're smiling so hard, your cheeks hurt, and your heart's still going a mile a minute, and it's just kind of a blur. And then you walk off the stage, and your team is right there to just embrace you and hug you. And they're so happy for you, and you are just beyond thrilled. Okay, so when you've got that picture in your mind, when you are experiencing that image as if it was real, I want you then to open your eyes, okay? On the count of 5, I'm going to count from 1 up to 5, and when I get to 5, once your brain has assimilated this picture, this image, this reality, your reality of being a diamond at some point in time, with you walking across that stage, tears in your eyes, heart beating out of your chest, just so proud of yourself, at the count of 5, you'll open your eyes, okay? So 1, feeling yourself coming back to the room. 2, feeling yourself feeling very grounded and centered because you've created that root that is now buried all the way to the center of the earth. 3, feeling yourself sitting in your chair, feet on the ground, hands wherever they are. 4, taking a nice deep breath in. And almost to that number, when we get to that last number, you're going to open your eyes. When you open your eyes, that means you are fully committed that your brain has taken this picture, this image, this reality, recorded it in that part of your brain that records things, and that the trajectory of your life is now forever changed because you know, you have faith that this is your reality because you just made it happen in your mind, just like you made it happen, that you cut a lemon, tasted it, and smelled it. Just like you made it happen, that you had a chalkboard in front of you and you had that horrible sound happening, right? So when I say that next number, open your eyes when your brain has fully accepted the fact that someday you are Diamond walking on that stage. All right, ready? Number 5. Go ahead and open your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, exhale. How many of you saw yourself on that stage? Okay. How many of you felt as if it was real? Okay. So do that as much as you can, because the more that you keep putting that image out, the more that that is going to bring that to your reality. Okay, when you're feeling discouraged, when you're feeling frustrated, check your mindset, because it's all mindset. What are you thinking? How are you thinking? How can you shift it differently? Because if a thought on a sticker, on a piece of paper, on a bottle of water can change a water molecule to be something totally beautiful or something totally disgusting. If that can happen to water, we need to take back that control and start owning the fact that our thoughts are affecting everything in our lives.